Hello and welcome to the latest Lukozer retro game review video. And okay, I've been doing Amiga games for a while, so it was inevitable that at some point I would get to this. Lemmings released by Psygnosis. It's a DMA Design game. And a couple of days ago I did a review of Orc where I mentioned the three games that I liked by Psygnosis. In fact, I did forget a few, and of course this was one of them. Lemmings showed that Psygnosis do on occasions get games right. Not just slightly right, but very right. And it sort of makes you wonder why they kept on persevering with all these fucking Roger Dean, graphics and everything else, because by the time this game came out, everybody already associated Psygnosis games with Roger Dean graphics as being, awful, and being all show. So along comes DMA Designs, who'd already done a couple of notable Amiga games for Psygnosis. Menace and Blood Money spring to mind. Those were certainly not the only ones they did. Then they come along with this. Now, surely you do not need me to explain what the game is all about. So surely everyone knows Lemmings. But if you are one of those people who lived under a rock for the past 30 or 40 years, here we go with a description. So, for this simple level, you simply have to dig, and so each lemming appears through this gateway into the area, and you can then select a particular task for each lemming, which they will do until the area that they are working on stops, and then they stop doing it, and all the other lemmings just keep walking in a straight line until they reach an obstacle, in which case they turn around and walk the other way again. And they will do that regardless, even if it means they're walking into water where they'll drown, or fire where they burn, or whatever. So they're not particularly intelligent. You have to guide them to the home. And that's it. That's the game. And you would think, well, a game that simple must be boring. It is anything but. So, with this one, we simply select each lemming as they come along to be a floater. So they open up, it's not really a parachute, it's more like an umbrella. And they're able to fall that distance. If they didn't, then they would splat as they hit the ground. There you go. Level done. Believe me, these levels do not stay this easy, but it does lull you into a false sense of security and make you think that the game is ridiculously simple, which it isn't. Well, not later levels anyway. So this level we now need to use blockers. So you just select the lemming, he will block the path, so now they all walk the other way. Now the problem with using blockers is they stay there permanently. So once this level is done, they can't, oh bollocks, they can't move. There you go. Right, so that's them all guided. Now we can increase the rate in which the lemmings appear. Do that. And now they all come flooding out because they're coming out at the maximum amount. So these options are, you have the climber here, the floater there, the bomber, who blows up after a 5-second timer, the blocker which we're using, the builder, the basher, that's the digger, that I assume is a miner, but he's not actually mining anything, he just digs another way through, but not straight down, he digs at an angle. And we have the pause key, and then we have this one, the Armageddon button, which we now need to use because these lemmings are just going to stand there because they can't move once they've been assigned as blockers. So you double click on that and they all suddenly act as bombers and blow up. And when they blow up, they take part of the scenery with them. In later levels, you need to take advantage of that. Right, so now we have miners and climbers. So yeah, I was right, he is called a miner. So he will now dig at an angle. Until he falls through. And then we turn them into climbers. So they climb up the wall and into the home. So these intro levels are just to give you an idea of how to play the game. So later levels are far more challenging. And I mean far more challenging. Some of them are downright fucking devious. So there we go. So it is a puzzle game. And it's an extremely good puzzle game. This level is a bit of a pain in the arse actually. We'll show you and then I'll go into the actual review itself. Now for this one you need to use bashers. Now bashers won't actually do anything unless they are right by the area that they have to bash through. Otherwise, if you click on it and there's nothing there, they just won't do anything, but you will still use up a basher. So there we go, he's now smashing his way through there. Now this works all fine until you get to this area, because this area there are lots of gaps in the area that you want to bash through. So I find myself just constantly clicking away until they finally clear a path. Quite handy actually that he's going along the bottom there, so yeah, they're all got through. Right, so we can now increase the rate that they are coming through. You can of course decrease it, which means that there you go, then a whole slew of them have now appeared. So that will be 100% of this level completed. So anyway, how do I rate the game? It's fucking superb. There's no two ways around it. I do not know anybody who had an Amiga and did not have this game. Furthermore, I do not know anybody who had this game who did not think it was great. And there's a very good reason for that. The game design is fantastic. It was unlike anything we had seen before at the time. And they really did hit on a winning formula. Graphics do the job and do the job well. They may not be, you know, groundbreaking, I guess, but I mean they're still fine. Now we need to turn that blocker into a single bomber, so then there's now a hole there. Now we need to do the same again with somebody around here. So stop him by the wall, because of course, as you've seen, they have a countdown. So unless you time it extremely well, there's no guarantee that they will explode right by that wall to blast a hole in it. So now, we've got the way out is done. So now all the rest of the levels can come pouring in, and that's that level finished. So anyway, yeah, graphics. I mean, the graphics, I think they're great. They may not be groundbreaking, but they work, and they work really well. You know, everything is very clear. I can't fault it. Again, with sound, the sound is, there is nothing groundbreaking. It's not like previous Psygnosis games where, you know, the soundtrack was mind-blowing and everything else. But it also goes to show that they don't have to keep doing, you know, groundbreaking graphics and, you know, mind-blowing soundtracks for a game to be good. And this game is the perfect example, because the game is fantastic. It met with universal acclaim, and deservedly so. It is a fantastic game, and yeah, I've got nothing but praise for it, as did, like I say, pretty much every review. And some of the lemmings will fall down here, but they can dig their way out, or not dig their way out, but they can build their way out. It's not quite so clear here, so things do get a bit cluttered in here after a while. Because you don't have to rescue these ones. You could, you know, nuke them all once all the others have buggered off. He's building in the wrong place. Let's try him. He's still building in the wrong place. Oh no, they can get out there. There you go. Right, so let's looks like that's a lot of them have already come through, so yeah. So anyway, that's graphics and sound, and gameplay. The gameplay is, well, for a puzzle game, it's perfection. I don't use that term lightly, but that's what it is. They've got the balance of puzzles and gameplay absolutely spot on, and you can't fault it. You really can't. Let's check what this next level is. Yeah, this is one that looks complicated, but you look all around here and you think, bloody hell, there's a hell of a lot to do. Yeah, there really isn't. What you have to do is that. So let's now get them flooding out. Quite a deceptive design on that level. There you go, right, so it leaves that one. Now I could just do him as a bomber, but I like using the Armageddon button, so there you go. So, it won't surprise you at all to hear that I rate this game 10 out of 10. And yet, it does still have an issue. Which is that, yeah, okay, they got on to, you know, they found a winning formula. But they then flooded the market with you know, all of these copies, which is really all they were. So a few died, but not many. So you had, like, you know, Lemmings, then Oh No More Lemmings, then Holiday Lemmings, Holiday Lemmings 2, then Lemmings 2, and it just went on and on and on, and they absolutely flooded the market with Lemmings games. And okay, yeah, I mean, the game was great, but don't keep releasing countless other Lemmings titles. They all played pretty much the same. The only time it got different was when there was Lemmings 3, I think it was Lemmings 3, which was the 3D one. That added the third dimension, which I think ruined it, and that was awful. But you know, as long as they stuck to the main game type, it was great, and that was all they needed to do. So, you know, if you stick with that, then you know, you couldn't really go wrong. Stick with the first game. You know, don't bother with any of the other spin-offs, because you know, they're all pretty much the same thing. Okay, the music was fucked up in places on, well, my copy of this game anyway. Right, that's lot done. Blow him up. Did I rescue enough? Yes. So there you go, that is Lemmings then, 10 out of 10, but just stick with this one, don't bother with the 1,000,001 fucking, you know, additional fucking Lemmings games that they brought out. There is also a Commodore 64 version. I don't know if there are many other versions that came out. Now, I have a horrible feeling that the basher doesn't work here. No, it doesn't. So we'll do some climbers. Now, the trouble is, I think that fall on the other end is going to be too much for him. Oh, we're about to find out. Yes, it is. Anyway, there you go. So that's Lemmings, 10 out of 10, and yeah, fantastic game, timeless, deserves all of the accolades it got. If you've played it before, then play it again. If you haven't played it before, then give it a try, because you need to find out what you've missed. So there you go, that is, actually let's cause some total carnage and blow the lot of them up. So that is Lemmings, and that brings that brings this video to an end, and we shall see you at the next one.